In August 1914, Canada went to war. But in 1914, Canada was not the fully independent nation it is today. It was part of an empire that went to war, the British Empire. And in English Canada, in big cities, small towns, hamlets, and on farms, men, as well as nursing sisters, joined the armed forces for king and empire, for adventure, or for the chance for a trip back to the mother country from which many had come as immigrants. Men from Grey Highlands did their share by joining regiments and battalions of infantry and artillery that formed the Canada Corps. Perhaps because we were a land of broad spaces and big skies, many young Canadians were attracted to the newfangled art of military flying. But Canada had no air force. A number of men here and across Canada joined fledgling air fleets based in Great Britain. By the war's end, 1/4 of Britain's air crews were Canadians. One such young Canadian from Markdale was George Kendall Lucas, and the air fleet he joined was the Royal Naval Air Service. Ken Lucas was from a prominent local family. His father, Isaac Benson Lucas, was an MPP and Ontario's Solicitor General. His maternal grandfather, Matthew K. Richardson, had been a member of Parliament from Grey County. Ken Lucas entered the war as assistant quartermaster at the Ontario Military Hospital in Orpington, England. But he transferred to the Air Service and went to France for pilot training at an air base near the town of Vendôme. It was on a training flight in March 1918 that Flight Lieutenant Ken Lucas made an emergency landing near the French village of Neuilly-Pompiers. During his brief stay, a farm family shared with him their lunch and a bottle of special Sunday wine. At the farmhouse table were 2 French soldiers, Ken Lucas, and a German prisoner of war who was treated like a member of the family. In a letter to his parents published in the Markdale newspaper, Ken Lucas commented on the decency of the German, who was not the monster Germans were held out to be. Later in the war, Ken Lucas served as a reconnaissance pilot over the Adriatic Sea and made a forced landing on water where he was rescued by a British destroyer. After the war, Ken Lucas graduated from law school and joined a Toronto law practice. He married, had 2 daughters and 2 sons. In 1932, at the age of 37, Ken Lucas drowned, saving his infant daughter Betty, who had fallen from a boat in Georgian Bay. The notes and stories Ken Lucas recorded in his notebook while he was overseas give us a well-written account of the humor and the tragedy in men and women muddling through the uncertainties of war. He also used his notebook to proclaim his belief that our enemies remain human, very much like us, even when they, like us, have been swept into the great conflicts that have marked our past.